Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees. Hope my voice is audible there and you're able to see the screen.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, am I audible there?
Yes, Prabhu, you're audible.
Okay. So thank you once again for taking out your precious time to continue our discussion of chapter 14. Let us start our day with our prayers to Shri Radha Govinda and seeking blessings from our Guru Parampara. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Cha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Guru Maharaj ki Jai Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all. Can unmute and say Hare Krishna will give some energy to me. I'm a little bit feeling down today with some cough and some fever.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare
Hare
Bol.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, let us start our session today. So, chapter 14, it is said as the most important chapter so far. Prabhupada says in the purport, and Krishna reveals that so far, whatever knowledge we have received, this is the most important because with this knowledge, we will liberate from our material entanglements. Yeah. So, with that, can we just go through a quick refresher of what we learned yesterday? I'm sure it will not be too difficult to recollect what was discussed yesterday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
I just remember that one thing which is says stop adding fuel to the fire because we have to stop our desires, our expectations, because that is a root cause for all our problems.
Yes.
This one thing has gone deep down into my heart, Prabhuji.
Very important point you have taken home, Mataji. Most of the times, mind being our biggest enemy, it always tried to give us that little pleasure what we had by sense enjoying. And because of that remembrance, we tend to do that sense enjoying activities. The simplest being sleeping an half an hour or 1 hour extra than what is required is also sense enjoyment. Yeah, eating very, very delicious food without offering to Krishna is also for our sense enjoyment. So there are many such sense enjoyments are there. And what is happening by doing that? Are we going to fix up in Krishna consciousness? No, it is only going to drag us down. So what we understood is regulation is very important. When the fire is burning, when you don't add fuel, then it will doze off on its own. That is how our sense enjoying propensity will also doze off, right? It's a very important message. So any other important topic like that?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
So in this chapter, we learned about 3 modes of material nature and how the soul gets entangled to these 3 modes of material nature. We just revised on the fact that we are not the body, we are the souls. And Krishna impregnates all the possible living entities in this world, and he's the seed-giving father. And then coming to the 3 modes of material nature, which is goodness, passion, and ignorance. So in goodness, one becomes wiser. And you gave the example of scientists and philosophers. And one can achieve the sense of advancement.
Yes.
But if manifestation of the modes of, in manifestation of mode of goodness, it can be experienced when all the 9 gates of the body are open, are eliminated by knowledge. And then the second one, which is passion. So with passion, one gets bound to material fruitive activities, and that person, they have unlimited desires and longings. And then analogy you gave is, the example you gave was the lust between, the attraction between a man and a woman. And then in this case, there is no chance of liberation. However, in mode of goodness, there is a possibility that out of goodness, that person, because of the sense of advancement, they may progress in bhakti. And then the third one, which is the mode of ignorance. So because of mode of ignorance, illusion is caused. And so such people, they go mad, or they are involved in indolence and sleep. And then there is no chance of liberation. In fact, these people, there is no guarantee that these people will be even born as a human beings in their next birth. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Mataji. See, one thing I wish to say is Krishna doesn't require any of our big opulences. Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana. As I said, we have to prove to Krishna by our actions, our sincerity to go back to Krishna. Yeah. So, in fact, yesterday, Devika Mataji was not present. She took the video recording. She have listened, and then she's presenting it so nicely. I really appreciate this, Mataji. So, most of us are busy in our own lives. Many times it is not possible for us to attend every class. But what the least minimum we have to do, a commitment to ourselves, is at least listen to the recording the same day when you get time, or maximum by next day. So by doing that, you are up to date, and that way you are proving your sincerity to Guru Parampara as well as Krishna. So that is how we can please our Guru Parampara as well as Krishna. This is an humble request for those devotees who may miss out. Please listen to recording, because every chapter from the purports of Prabhupada and our Shiksha Guru, we are learning so many things, which is our life lessons. So in this chapter, what we understood, and even in connection to chapter 13 also, what we are trying to understand is, we are not this body. Most of the time we are in distress. We are suffering because we are completely attaching ourselves to body. Yeah, I have a headache, I have cough, I have back pain. We are attaching to body. But at the same time, when you realize with the knowledge that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul, and when you stand outside this body and you think that this body is suffering, then you are not entangled in this. So this is the knowledge we need to understand, that body, spirit soul, and the super soul, these 3 constitute of our entire thing, our presence. So with this understanding, when we are living our life, any difficulty we are facing, we get lot more strength, lot more courage to overcome that. Otherwise, we get into anxiety mode as well as distress mode. Yeah. So that is what happens. So for you to always be blissful and rise above all this anxiety is understanding this knowledge. So in this process, what will be the realization, the consciousness, whenever we are going through a difficult situation, what we realize is I am purifying my past karmas. And also we will be grateful to Krishna that I deserve even worse, but because of Krishna's mercy, I am going through only this little. So with this consciousness, when you are living your life and trying to do whatever is necessary to overcome the distressful, you get lot more strength and you react or respond in a better way and overcome through that situation and move further. So this is a key life learning we are learning from this particular chapter. So now we are moving to the section D, actions and death within this mode. So what happens at death? One predominated by a specific mode. When somebody is leaving his body in particular mode, what is the destination is discussed here. Yes, somebody can take up this sloka.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदां लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते.
Thank you, Mataji.
When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So here, one who are in a mode of goodness, when he leaves his body, he can rise up to the higher planetary systems, up to the Brahmaloka or Janaloka, and enjoy all this godly happiness. And here the word Amalan is very significant, which says this is free from mode of passion as well as ignorance. So yesterday we discussed that the mode of ignorance or mode of passion and mode of goodness is within us. Based on our activities, one mode can predominate others. So when we are in mode of goodness, it will predominate the mode of passion as well as ignorance. And as said, once one who leaves his body in mode of goodness, he takes higher birth. But what we need to understand very importantly is to rise above this mode of goodness. Even the mode of goodness holds us in this material world. There's a beautiful sloka in chapter 8, sloka 16, which says, Abrahma bhuvana loka punar avartino arjuna mam upatyentu kaunteya punar janmana vidyate. So it says, right from the highest planet in this material world down to the lowest, everybody has to take this birth and death. Everybody has to go through this vicious cycle of birth and death. Everybody have to go through all these Trivida kleshas. So for that, for us to transcendentally situated ever in service of Krishna, we have to transcend above this mode of goodness as well. Next sloka, please.
Hare Krishna. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tada praleenastamasi moothayonishu jayate. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities, and when he dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So there is a misconception that once you take an human form, you will not go down into this animal kingdom. Here in this shloka, clearly it is said that there is always a possibility if somebody is living all the sinful life in mode of ignorance, in next life, he can always fall down. At the same time, when we have got this life, when we are engaging in little devotional service, the greatest danger of falling down to this animal kingdom is wiped out. So that is what we learn in Sloka, chapter 2, Sloka 40, which says, Neha Vikramanasosthi Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpa apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bayat. So there is no loss and free from great danger. And what is that great danger? Is falling down to the animal kingdom, where you will not be engaged in any devotional service. Only in this human form, we discussed yesterday, the shloka, that this human body is the rarest of rare gift, which we can utilize this body in service of the Supreme Lord and Guru Parampara and Vaishnavas. Prabhupada always says, it is a very bad bargain. We have got this material body and we are suffering in this material world. But we can make the best use of this body by engaging in service of the Supreme Lord. Next shloka. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्. हरे कृष्ण.
By acting in the mode of goodness, one becomes purified. Works done in the mode of passion results in distress, and actions performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So here, different actions in different mode we are trying to understand. Here, the result of pious activities in the mode of goodness will leads to happiness within. At the same time, the activities in the mode of passion is simply going to put you in miserable condition. People are working like donkeys, more than 12 hours, 14 hours. They are working so much for their sense enjoyment. But are they really happy? Even after getting the best position, even after getting all the riches, still you can see the richest of the person is not the happiest in this world, isn't it? Similarly, the mode of ignorance, the performer is without knowledge, and therefore all his activities is leading to misery for himself as well as the entire society. And afterwards he go towards the darkest region of hell as well as take birth in a animal life. And one more important thing what we need to understand is, anybody who is killing animals for his own sense enjoyment, to satisfy his taste buds, we need not have to think that I am not killing, the slaughterhouse is doing that, but you are encouraging everything. There is a demand, there will be a supply. If you stop it, the supply will also go down. But you are encouraging this demand. That is why there is a slaughterhouse every corner of our house, and there are so many animals are being killed. And as a karmic reaction, the nature's law is such that you will be taking the next life as that particular animal, and you will have to go through all the pain. And Krishna, in this chapter itself, he says, Aham Bija Parampita. He is the seed-giving father of all the living entity. How can a father tolerate such a pain which is gone through his children? Yeah. So it is very important. We need to encourage or stop meat eating. Next sloka.
Hare Krishna. Tattvat samjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramada mohau tamaso bhavado jnanam eva cha. Hare Krishna.
Somebody can take the English translation.
From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, grief develops. And from the mode of ignorance, foolishness, madness, and illusion develop. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Babaji. So through Krishna consciousness. As Prabhupada says, this is the best charity we can give to anybody out there. The society at large will become very peaceful and happy when somebody is practicing Krishna consciousness, and through Krishna consciousness one develop this mode of goodness. And in mode of goodness people see as it is, whereas in mode of ignorance people will not be able to clearly see what kind of sinful life they are doing. For example, they never think even once before killing an animal just for their sense enjoyment. And hence here we learn that mode of goodness gives us the knowledge and happiness, and it is transformed the society, while others is always a disturbance in the society. And the people in mode of passion or ignorance, they only give disturbance in this society. And other day I was talking to one of my friend who is not into Krishna consciousness. So he was telling that I am very happy with my life. I have a very beautiful wife. I have a very good job, and I got a good salary. I have a very good status in the society. I'm very happy with this life. And I don't mind taking birth again and again if I'm getting this life. It is purely this ignorance that he has not got this knowledge that this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Other day I was telling that Krishna has instructed Brahma to create this material world in such a way that nobody is completely happy in this material world. Everybody is going through some or the other distress or some of the other suffering. Otherwise, we will completely forget Krishna, isn't it? When we remember Krishna, when we are in distress, we always reach out to Krishna, please help me out, isn't it? So what is more important is not the money we have, but following regulative principle, engaging in devotional service, and selflessly when you serve, that is when you get the real happiness. Let's move to the next sloka.
Hare Krishna. ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्यगुणवृद्धिस्थाः अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः.
Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upwards to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on earthly planets, and those in the mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So request others also take this opportunity to participate. And secondly, in yesterday's class, not many has marked your respective attendance. So request you all to please mark the attendance right away. So again, in this sloka, what we are trying to understand is the different actions in different modes is more explicitly Krishna is saying. And as we discussed, in mode of goodness, one rises to the higherly planet system up to the Brahmaloka, whereas in mode of passion, because of some pious activity he does, like any charitable cause or any little devotional service, he takes birth as a human form, and he again gets a second opportunity to continue. And the people in ignorance, they are in the biggest danger, and they will go down to the darkest region of hell. And as said, there are about 8.4 million species of life, and one has to again go back to that, and through the evolutionary process he has to come back after millions and millions of birth. So this life is very, very important not to lose that opportunity. The word tamasa is very significant here, indicates that continuously one who stays in mode of ignorance without rising to the higher modes, their future is very, very dark. And as said, this body is the most rare opportunity for us to rise from the mode of ignorance, mode of passion, to the mode of goodness. And by serving our Guru Parampara, serving the Vaishnava, we can also transcend from these three modes and go back to Krishna by chanting the holy names, following four regulative principles, and engaging in devotional service. Now, the last section, how do we transcend this mode? How do we transcend this mode from mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness? We will discuss in this in detail. So, in a way, we are all in kind of mode of ignorance. We continue to rise to mode of passion as well as goodness, and we can transcend these three modes of material nature. So, what we need to do, we need to look back. How are we progressing? Having come into this Krishna consciousness, how are you progressing? When you started this level 2 course, what was your chanting? How was the quality of chanting? What kind of devotional service you were engaging? What was your four regulative principle? How you were? For example, all four, somebody would be doing all four sinful activities. Has he put his effort to regulate? Has he put his effort to reduce? And has he put his effort to stop few of these? So that is very, very important. We have to evaluate ourselves. We have to stand in front of the mirror and see that am I progressing in this spiritual path? And in your progress, be humble and stay happy. So let us now move to the next shloka. Somebody can try new, or people who are not comfortable shloka, then Rashmika Mataji or Ambika Mataji, anybody can continue. Yatika Mataji can continue.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram yada drashtantu pashyati gunebhyah samveti madbhavam so digachati.
When you see that there is nothing beyond these material modes of nature in all activities, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes, then you can know my spiritual nature. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. In this shloka, it says one can transcend the modes of material nature simply by understanding it properly. How can we understand this knowledge? By taking Bhagavad Gita book, if I sit and read, do I understand this? How do we understand? As we discussed, this knowledge is received through Guru, Sadhu, as well as Shastra. By serving Sadhus, by following Shastras under the guidance of our Guru Parampara, only then this knowledge we will get properly, and then we can implement this knowledge in our life. By implementing that, we can rise above our mode of ignorance and passion, and above we can progress. So at the same time, we discussed it is not easy. The three modes of material nature, our conditioning is so strong, and Maya also tests us so strongly that only the sincere souls who want to rise above this, the mercy of Krishna flow, the mercy of Guru flows, and then we will be able to rise. So we learned Devi Isha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durityaya Mam Evaye Prapadyante Mayam Eva Tarantite. Krishna himself declares it is not easy to overcome the forces of Maya, but one who has surrendered unto the lotus feet of Krishna by taking the shelter of a Guru Parampara, one can easily transcend through these three modes. And then I see many have just joined, missed yesterday's important class. So thought I'll just revise one very important shloka we discussed yesterday from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, shloka 20 and chapter 20, shloka 17, which says, Nrideham adyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam gurukarnadharam Mayanukulena nabhasvateritam puman bhavadvim nataret sa atmaha. Sa atmaha. I in fact shared this a short video in the group as well. And some of you who have attended yesterday's class, can you just tell me what is the key takeaway you took from this shloka from our yesterday's discussion or listening to this very important shloka? Can somebody add something? What do we understand from this shloka? Hare Krishna. Any try? It was a very important topic we discussed. What is this body considered as? We are all struggling in this material ocean of misery. And what is this body considered as?
Boat, Prabhuji.
Yes. So this body is the rarest of rare gift which takes the soul which is entrapped within this body outside this material ocean of misery. And we discussed that Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karnadaram. Who is the captain of this boat? The captain of this boat is our Guru Parampara. So we need to surrender to the Guru Parampara. And just by having a boat and a captain, without a favorable wind, we will not be able to reach to this destination. That favorable wind is Paramatma within, the Krishna within, who is guiding us. But what are we doing? Are we trying to take the best advantage of this? Krishna has given us everything. We don't see the blessings in our life. When we look back, there are so much blessings in our life, but we always see what is not there in our life. Other day, I was just discussing with one of my friend. If we have a half glass of milk, most of us will say, I only have half glass of milk. Very seldom people with gratitude, people who appreciate the blessings of Krishna, says that I have half glass of milk. The perspective is different. The life is same for everybody. Everybody are going through their own different challenges, but how they see is what matters. The Atmaha is very important. It is known as killer of soul. Not taking these instructions very seriously, continue to engaging in sense enjoyment, continue to procrastinating in our lives. We are living as if we are going to eternally live. We see everybody are dying. We think that our neighbors are going to die. I am going to live for next 30 years. That is how we are all living. We never know. Do we have another day? We absolutely don't know. That is the fact, but in ignorance. That is why I say we are all living in ignorance. Only because of that, we are not able to rise to the minimum standards what our acharyas have given. We always think we always have tomorrow to rise to that level. What if I don't see another day and I have not completed, I have not reached at least the minimum standards of 16 rounds chanting, following 4 regulative principles, reading Prabhupada books, trying to do little service? What happens? Swalpapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Krishna is telling he will give you one more chance. But should we take one more birth in this material world, go through all the miseries what we have gone through, and then progress to next level? So we have to take this one life very seriously. Prabhupada says, give this one life to me, I will take you back to Godhead. We have to follow the instructions of our acharyas and we have to progress. Let us move to the next sloka. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. गुणानेतान् अतीत्यत्रीन् देही देहसमुद्भवान् जन्म मृत्युजरा दुःखैर्विमुक्तो अमृतमश्नुते. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
So this sloka gives us the hope that how we can break free from these material entanglements. Even in this material body, the soul is entrapped. Even in this material body, in this material world, how we can transcend, how we can stay transcendental, how we can stay blissful. The Sanskrit word dehi means embodied. Although one is within this material body, by his advancement in spiritual practices, the spiritual knowledge, he can break free from the modes of influences of the material nature. So, in other words, the devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the sign of liberation. We started this chapter by talking about how this soul get entrapped in this material world and how we can liberate. So, this is the answer for that. If you are not serious, if you are not continue to rise, then you will continue to fall. Next sloka.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
अर्जुन उवाच कैर्लिङ्गैः स्त्रीन् गुणानेतान् अतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचार कथं चैतान् स्त्रीगुणानतिवर्तते.
Actually.
Hare Krishna.
Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by what symptoms is one known who is transcendental to those modes? What is his behavior? And how does he transcend the modes of nature? Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So again, these are very, very important questions. Arjuna is asking Krishna. The three questions he's asking is, what is the symptom of a person who has already transcend this material nature? How one can understand that he's already transcendent? The influence of the material nature is asking. The second question is how he lives and what are his activities? Are they regulated or non-regulated? And third question is the means by which he can attain this transcendental nature. So all these three questions are very important, and further sloka Krishna gives answers for us to these three important slokas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava na dveshti sampravrittani na nivrittani kankshati udasinavadasino gunairyo na cha yo na vichalyate guna vartanda ityevam yo vadishtadi nengade समदुःखसुखस्वस्था समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्जनः तुल्यप्रिया प्रियो धीरस्तुल्यनिघ्नात्म संस्तुतिः मानापमानयोस्तुल्यस्तुल्यो मित्रारिपक्षयो हि सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी गुणातीत स उच्यते. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Mataji.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon the lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the mode of nature. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So again, it's a very, very important life lesson we are going to get out of this. So how a person can transcend these material modes of nature? What are its symptoms? So Krishna says, he indicates the first thing is the person who is transcendently situated is not envy and does not hanker for anything. Our biggest problem is fault finding. Then even among devotees, when we are together, there are so many good qualities we can see, but we only see the faults in a person. Ideally, the perfect way of doing is to see the faults within you and see the good things in others. And they do not hanker for anything. We need to understand this material world. You are there. You are not going to be an enjoyer. You are going to suffer. More you talk about your suffering, more you are registering your mind that I'm going through this, going through this, going through this. Rather see the blessings in your life. Rather see the blessings in your life. Have gratitude to all the mercy of Krishna. Then you will get strength. We don't say that suffering will go off, but you will get strength to fight. And such a person is always neutral to all the dualities and continue, irrespective of his situation, he will continue to engage in unalloyed devotional service. So that way he can rise above this bodily concept. And by now we need to be very clear, whatever difficult situation we are going through, it could be a bodily discomfort or a issue with our relationship or issues with the office, we need to understand that this suffering is for the body and body is temporary. I am not this body. Yeah, it is very easier said than done, but if you practice, you can transcend all these difficulties in your life much, much better. And then the next question is about the dealings of person who is transcendentally situated. And the materially situated person is what? A materially situated person is always affected by the honor as well as dishonor. But transcendentally situated person is not affected by such false honor as well as dishonor. I think I shared this thing that recently when I met one very exalted devotee. He's very young in age, but I met this devotee in Srirangam. He is full-time serving in Mayapur and other ISKCON temples. He simply asked me one question: how do you know that you have ego and pride within you? Anybody asks, do you have ego or pride? First thing we say that no, we don't have any ego or pride. The simple definition what he has given is, somebody appreciate you if you feel happy within you, and somebody chastise you, you feel bad about that person. That is the sign of you having this ego. So the person who is transcendentally situated is above all these things, the honor and dishonor. He performs his duty as a service to Krishna and does not mind, and he is not bothered about the failure or success. In both stages, he is staying steady. That is what we learn from chapter 1854 shloka, which says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samau sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. She is equally disposed and sees everything at equal level. And he perfectly knows that he is nothing but a material existence and sees friends as well as enemies as equal. He does not hate anybody. He does not envy anybody. It is all very difficult for us. But for us to transcend above these material modes and go back to Krishna, we have to do this. And how it can happen? Can it happen overnight? Definitely it is not possible. That is why our acharyas have given us the formula to go back, that is chanting the holy names, engaging in devotional service, following 4 regulative principles, taking the association of devotees, shelter of Guru Parampara. By doing this, gradually all this purification will happen, and very soon we will transcend above all these material modes of nature. Next sloka. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीत्यैतान् ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते.
One who
One who-
engages in full. Go ahead, Mataji.
Okay. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, in this verse, the third question of Arjuna is being answered. What it says, what is the means of transcending this material, transcending to the transcendental position? So, as said, the material world, the forces of Maya, they are doing their service perfectly to the Krishna. It will continue to push you away from Krishna. Only by your sincerity you have to prove and you have to transcend. Only way is regulating our sense enjoyment and rising in our knowledge, detachment from this material world that comes from the knowledge. Sarvopati vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. So when you engage your senses in service of Rishikesha, your senses get purified, and with that you can rise. And such a person attain Satchit Ananda nature. And we understand that we are the part and parcel of Krishna and we engage. The analogy Prabhupada is giving is qualification to serve the king. What is the qualification? We say that we want to serve the Supreme Lord. What is the qualification to serve the Supreme Lord? Is to stop serving Maya. When you stop serving your own bodily needs, rise above your bodily needs and engage through all your distress situation, continue to serve, then gradually you transcend above these modes of material nature and situated in this transcendental platform. Yeah. So how to transcend the modes? It says one who engage in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances. This is very important. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Nityam bhagavata sevaya is what being told. It is not that one day with lot of energy and enthusiasm we get up in Brahma Muhurta, chant, and next 4 days we don't turn up. That is not the way. The consistency is required. The determination is required. And through that, one will transcend the modes of material nature and come to a level of Brahman. And last sloka for the day, somebody can take up.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
Brahmano hi pratishthatham amritasya vyavasaya cha sasvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya ainkanti kasaya cha.
And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness and which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So the constitutional position of Brahman is immortality, imperishability, eternity, and happiness. And we understood 3 ways of realizing the Supreme Lord. Somebody recollect this? What are the 3 ways we can realize the God? One is Brahman.
Paramatma and Bhagwan.
Yes, Paramatma and Bhagwan. So we should not be happy at Brahman realization alone, because there is no personal engagement with the Supreme Lord. We cannot serve the Supreme Lord being in Brahman realization. Yeah. So we understood from chapter 4 that the material nature is the inferior energy and the living entity is the marginal energy. Why it is called marginal energy? We have choice to serve material nature, or we have the choice to serve the Supreme Lord. And we discussed that to qualify to serve Lord, we should stop serving the Maya. So other day we discussed that we can be called as a conditioned soul, or we can be called as a liberated soul. So we continue to serve Maya, we will continue to be conditioned. Once we stop serving Maya and engage in devotional service, we are known as liberated soul. So what important is, even after rising to a Brahman realization, you should continue to progress. We are at maybe the lowest of the ladder. At this stage itself, we are not putting our endeavors to progress further. There is no end for our progress in service of Supreme Lord. We should continue to rise. Devotees who are not chanting should start chanting 1 round. Those who are chanting 1 round should rise to 4 rounds. Those who are chanting 4 rounds should rise to 8 rounds. Those who are chanting 8 rounds should touch 16 rounds. And those who are chanting 16 rounds should rise to a stage where they are completing their 16 rounds in Brahma Muhurta. Devotees who are chanting in 16 rounds, still they can try to continue to rise in the quality of the chanting, try to fix the mind in this sound vibration and continue to rise. There is no end. That is the beauty of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. A neophyte devotee chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or a very exalted devotee chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, mantra, the potency is same, but our realization, our faith in the mantra is what matters. So finally, to summarize, in the constitutional position, a living entity is above these modes of material nature. That is what we discussed. The soul is above the modes of material nature. Only because of our enjoying propensity, our attachment to this material mode, we are entangled in this mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. Only way out, the easiest way out, is chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the only way one can rise above in his realization, in his purification, in his attachment to these modes, and fix up in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the process of devotional service is beginning from Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So, the 9 devotional service we discussed, starting from chanting of holy name. By doing that, what happens, as we learned in chapter 9, sloka 34, we fix up Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mam evaishyasi yuktamyam atmanam matparayanaha. So we fix up our mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. We surrender Krishna and we worship Krishna. Through this, we rise, break free from these material modes of nature, and we progress back to Godhead. So with this, we will end our session. Thank you for your association. Thank you for taking out time. I know you all have your own personal responsibilities. Sometime you may miss out. My humble request is, do not leave. We all have to take break for various reasons, but little what I expect, or little what you can do to yourself, is immediately the same day or maximum by next day, listen to the recording and make every effort to come back. If you miss out 2 classes together, then Maya definitely defeat you and throw you out of this association. We are completing chapter 14. We have just 4 more chapters away. I request all of you to hold on to this association and continue this progress and complete. this journey what we started. So with this humble request, I leave the floor to you. Any quick questions from today's session or any realization you can share? So Devika Mataji, you want to add anything?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
So my
Krishna.
question is, when a person dies in mode of ignorance, is it still possible to take birth as a human being? And is there a still chance that that person can attain Sadgati and attain Krishna?
It is very difficult. See, the person who is living his body in mode of ignorance, he lived all his life in a sinful way. But what we understood is, even such Naradama, in association of devotee, by taking shelter, he will also rise in his levels and he can also go back. There is a hope, but after taking many births. Right, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hope this answered your question.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just one more question, Prabhuji. I just started reading Ishopanishad last 2 days.
Yes,
and so there, Prabhupada classified women as a less intelligent class, Prabhuji, and I was not able to digest that.
Yeah.
So why women
Yeah.
are classified like that, Prabhuji?
Yes, good question, Mataji. This is a very common question everywhere. Why you are not able to digest? Because you are conditioned to this body. All this class we said, we are not this body. We are spirit soul. We have just taken this body, either man or woman, is for our own desire or our own karmic reactions. And if you see, the constitutional position is to serve the Supreme Lord. I am serving in the body of a man. You are serving in the body of a woman. This body is a result of our karma as well as our desire, but we are not this body. So you don't have to worry about that, Mataji.
Hey Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
at the same time, you have given the example of a glass of milk, half filled and half unfilled. So it depends upon you how you take it. And in the chapter of opulences, that's the 10th chapter, the quality of woman is very well defined. So now it is up to you whether you take the negative qualities of woman into your mind or you want to take the positive. So it is up to us only. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Right. Any other points to discuss? Any questions or any important topics which you feel is a good takeaway we can discuss? Hare Krishna. Else, with an humble request that I look forward to see you all in our further classes. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhasya cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrindi ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.